whenever you're ready.
Alrighty. Go ahead, Cabe.
Alrighty, welcome everybody to Bristol Motor Speedway, the elimination race, for the final race of the season, for the regular season at least. This is where we're gonna crown the top 12 in point, or top 10 for the playoffs. So we will see who makes it in tonight and who fails to advance to the playoffs. But Bristol, short track, can't get much better than this, Alex.
Man, yeah, I was gonna say it's gonna be I think it's gonna be a tricky one tonight. I mean, obviously it's Bristol, one of the toughest tracks on the schedule, especially in these cars. I think we're gonna see a lot of good racing tonight. A track where if you can make the middle or even the top work, you can get some good runs going. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a tricky night tonight, especially for the cutoff race before we head to the playoffs. Yeah, gonna be a fun one tonight, I think.
Yeah, and as practice is close to finishing up here with 5 minutes left, I am not going to be here, so Alex will be the main broadcaster for tonight. I am going, since it's my birthday, I'm going to go eat, so yeah, unfortunately, you're going to have to miss tonight, but I will be watching on my phone, probably at dinner. But yeah, I won't be here. I just want to be here for the start and hang out with everybody. But yeah, so unfortunately I won't be here, but we're going to hand the keys over, the mic, I guess, to Alex and
Yeah.
give him a shot at it. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, we're gonna do our best tonight. So, unfortunately, not to have you with us tonight, but we'll do our best for you. Enjoy your birthday dinner, and we'll see you back when we get to the playoffs.
Yes, sir. We'll have some fun. I'm excited for the playoffs. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch and see how everybody does. Obviously, we're going to have an off week next week, so regular season finale tonight, off week next week, and then we come back the 30th at Kansas. So Kansas, Charlotte, Vegas to be the first round, and then the finale, which is Talladega, Martinsville, and Phoenix. So a wild card and two short tracks. That one's going to be a lot of fun to see how these drivers try to fight it and see how they do. So we'll see, but a lot of fun to be had. Top 12. I'm corrected. Top 12 tonight make it. So be on the lookout for that. Points are pretty close. So we'll see around that bubble who makes it. Seeing in practice a few different lines going on here.
Yeah, like I said, not super surprising. I think this is going to be a track where we can move around. We've seen it a lot throughout the year that some guys will try to experiment with some different lines, and sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. So, yeah, Bristol probably not the track you really want to go too hard at because, yeah, one wrong move and you're in the outside wall and it's race over. I unfortunately have some personal experience in that department, but we'll see how these drivers fare throughout tonight's, I believe it's on a 160 lap race we got going tonight for the Harris Hill 160.
Yep. Well, Alex, I'm going to hand the mic over to you. We are getting ready to leave, so I appreciate you taking over, doing it all for me tonight. I really appreciate it. And, yeah, I'll be watching on my phone, so good luck to all the drivers. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And, yeah, I will be talking to you guys in 2 weeks when I come back. Thank you, Alex.
Of course. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, unfortunately, Cabe unable to be in the booth with me tonight, but we're going to do our best to carry the sail, or carry the boat, carry the sail, I don't know, something like that, for this race tonight. And I stand corrected, it is the Harris Hill Amusement Park 150 tonight at Bristol. It will be an 150 lap race to test these guys before we head to the playoffs in 2 weeks. Going to be a very, very interesting race, like I've mentioned before. Man, I think we're in for a good one tonight. At the moment, practice winding down with about 1 minute and 10 seconds left. Kyle Ritchie leading the standings right now in practice with Matt Frady, his teammate, right behind him in second. Randy Arms in third. So top three right now in practice. Going to be the main three to look out for tonight, as those guys will be very quick. Short track, pretty high tire wear, if I remember correctly. So we'll see how a lot of these guys can handle the fast wearing tires and the different lines tonight. Yeah, strategy's going to be a big one. Stage coming at those random stages that we've had all year round, working out pretty well for some guys, not too well for others. Between lap 50 and 60 tonight. Like I mentioned before, practice winding down. About half a minute left before we see these drivers take the 2-lap qualifying to see who sets the best time and who's going to start on the pole tonight, as we see the 31 of Christian Strader rounding out the rest of practice in an interesting fashion. As we're going to actually get some... Oh, or maybe not. Alrighty. Ryan Tiller having himself a nice little spin there to round out practice as we head into qualifying for the Harris Hill Amusement Park 150. Going to be a 2-lap qualifying here on board with the 31 of Christian Schrader. Going to be going back and forth to see. We'll focus on a couple of the top guys in practice here and whether or not they can continue the qualifying pace and bring themselves towards the top of the field for the rest of qualifying. Right now on board with the 75, Landon Quisenberry having himself an up and down season, unfortunately. Yeah, looking to have some better results for the rest of the year, obviously, as we head into the playoffs. Right there, Landon Quisenberry putting himself P2 on the board as of right now. Willis Peters currently your fastest qualifier with a 15.244. Very close qualifying times between the top two there. Willis Peters having herself a great season. 2 wins on the year. A couple top 5s and some top 10s. She's going to round out qualifying in the second position as Kyle Ritchie's going to take over the number 1 spot in that 76 Stitch machine with a 15.198, with the other Ritchie brother, Kevin Ritchie, in the 51 car taking P2. As I said before, folks, stream will look a little bit different tonight, as I unfortunately have to do the honors of broadcasting, and said I got my own overlays tonight, so gonna be a little bit different as we roll into this race tonight. Standings might look a little different, unfortunately, as I am not as much of a professional as Cabe is. Like I mentioned before, Kyle Ritchie taking the pole, with Casey Brown slotting himself into second place. Kevin Ritchie in third. Top 3 right now for the Harris Hill 150 as we remain 2.5 minutes left in qualifying. Some drivers still making their laps. So right now we're going to have a couple cross the line. Let's see if I can find anybody going through in the 41 of Jonathan Mazzella. Let's see here. Puts himself P10 on the board as more drivers coming. He's going to drop down to P11. 66, Nathaniel Landwehr, big name throughout this entire season. Let's see if he can have a bounce back week. Had also another guy with some up and downs this year. Going to put himself in P8. As I believe pretty much most of the field has gone out for their qualifying laps. Right now, Kyle Ritchie still taking the pole time by about like 9 thousandths of a second over Casey Brown. Very close times at the top there. Let's see. Let's ride on board with as our current pole man. See if I can find his lap time. No, I'm not too sure if we're going to be able to get his lap here. You know what? Just because we're feeling like it. Here's the pole man. as of right now, Kyle Ritchie. Like I said, setting a really close qualifying time there. Bottom's going to be where you want to run in qualifying. As you can see here, you're going to want to hug that bottom line. Try to get yourself a really good exit as you enter 3 and 4, one of the trickiest corners in the series. As you cross the line for his first qualifying lap. Oh, I believe that was actually his, might have been his, oh, it was the second lap. Yeah. There he is right there, rounding out qualifying, 30 seconds left. Let's see, we got the 58 of Jonathan Schwartz on track right now, I believe. Let's see here if we can find the man himself. One of the few guys in the field so far to not make a qualifying lap. Let's see what he can put down. No time on the first lap. May have gotten himself an incident point, unfortunately. See what he can do on his second lap. He's going to come around. Oh, I unfortunately don't think he got his qualifying lap off. Very unfortunate there. Cal Ritchie, going to be your pole man for tonight in tonight's Harris Hill Amusement Park 150 as the field turns to the grid. There we go. Cal Ritchie, your pole man for tonight's race. Alongside him, Casey Brown in the number 88, the gorgeous John Deere scheme that we can't seem to escape. Kevin Ritchie, the other Ritchie brother, on the outside, or the inside of row 2, excuse me, as we move to league owner Randy Arms, looking to continue his regular season championship assault, only 2 points behind Cal Ritchie for the regular championship lead. And yeah, we'll see what he can do tonight. One of the quicker guys on the short track, so we'll see if he can outrun Kyle Ritchie tonight for that regular season championship. Right behind him, the one of Lilith Peters. Seen some great results out of her throughout the year. We'll see if she can continue her stretch of good results. Lenny Quisenberry in the 75 machine down in P6. Good qualifying effort from him. Our fan favorite Mikey Adams in the 20, I believe he's in the 28 car tonight, as he's been all year, down in 7th position, with Nathaniel Landwehr trying to have himself a decent result after a stretch of some on and off results down in P8. Ryan Tiller down in P9, and Matt Frady to round out your top 10, with Jonathan Zella right outside the top 10, very close to getting inside the top 10. Unfortunately, not going to make it with Christian Schrader. I believe that's his second start of the year, down in P12. Right in the midfield, Eric Shields down in 13th, with Jake Nippers rounding out row 7. Austin Wingard down in 15th, with Adrian Williams, I believe that's another new name in the series, down in 16th to round out row number 8, with Cade Ferguson in the 25 machine, with Wyatt Garrett qualifying tonight in the P18 position, with Jared Lindsay, a surprisingly not a great qualifying time from him, down in 19th. Brandon Sermashim in 20th to round out row 10. Michael Cochran in row 21, the last of the qualifiers tonight, with Jonathan Schwartz not setting a qualifying time to round out row 11, with Greg Elliott and Randy Sample rounding out your qualifying positions for tonight's Harris Hill Amusement Park 150. Going to be 150 laps around this half-mile short track. Going to be a fun one tonight, ladies and gentlemen, as, like I mentioned before, one of the trickiest tracks in iRacing to get a hang of here. So, oh God, as we're going to figure ourselves out here before we go green. Maybe not. There we go. All right, pace car is going to lead the field around this half-mile short track. Like I mentioned before, with Cal Ritchie in the 76 and the 88 of Casey Brown taking the front 2 spots. I believe that is the lights off on the pace car, so we should see the pace car pull off into pit road here. Maybe we'll see if it wants to make that that left-hander, as I can see. There we go. Pace car is going to pull off into pit road, and we are going to go green for the Harris Hill Amusement Park 150 at Bristol Motor Speedway. Even start from the front two runners as Kyle Ritchie gonna stick to the inside, keep his lead with Casey Brown riding up to the top. He's gonna have Kevin Ritchie on the inside of him with Randy Arms right on the outside. Pretty even start from a lot of these gentlemen here in the front of the field. As right now, most of the field here surprisingly not fully going single file yet, as we see Kyle Ritchie going to maintain the lead. A little bit of spread behind them. Not super surprising. Traffic going to be a really big factor tonight as we get later in the race. As the 51's going to get a little bit loose in the bottom, keeps himself straight. As we see a lot of the field towards the mid-pack decide to spread out, as we're going to have some cars up into the wall.
Caution, yellow flag.
As the yellow flag is going to wave. Believe that's the 25 of Cade Ferguson. Let's ride on board with him and see what happens here. Looks like just a big checkup in the back of the field and a couple cars running each other over. Not a great way to start this race. There's going to be a lot of cars involved. Decent damage to the 25 there. Let's look from the TV cam how this all started. A little bit of looseness and just getting turned by the 27 of Eric Shields there, and yeah, everybody's just going to pile into each other. Very, very difficult to avoid wrecks here, as obviously only being a half-mile track, not the widest track in the world, so a lot of guys are going to have to make sure they can keep their wits about them and not run into the rest of the field here, as we are going to, if I can figure out how to go live here. Ladies and gentlemen, no pit stops occurring there as it is the opening 10 laps of this race. Kyle Ritchie still remaining your leader, as we will be coming to the choose rule, a fun little part of this league that we have going on here, as a lot of these guys get to pick where they want to start for the restarts. Here, as we see Kyle Ritchie take the inside line there. Very, very big opportunity to mix up some of the field. As like I said, these guys get to pick where they want to go, and sometimes wrong lane choice can make a big difference in this race. As we are in the 1 to green, as the drivers line themselves back up to try to have a non-messy restart here. As we're going to roll on to going on lap 9 of the Harris Hill Amusement Park 150 at Bristol Motor Speedway. Kyle Ritchie still remaining your leader with Casey Brown on the outside. Pace car is going to pull into pit road. And they get going. Kyle Ritchie with a great restart there with the 75 of Landy Kuizenberg looking on the inside of Casey Brown. The rest of the field behind will try to mind their P's and dot their Q's. Oh, that made absolutely no sense, but we're going to roll with it. Kyle Ritchie keeping the lead. Battles going on in the back of the field as they're going to remain too wide throughout the mid-pack. And like I said earlier in the race before qualifying started, looks like these guys were going to be able to use multiple lanes, and we're seeing it here. The top lane can be a little bit tricky in the later runs. One little mistake, and you can end up loose and in the inside wall. We've seen a lot there as we got a car in the wall back there, keeping himself straight. So far, so good for a lot of these guys here up in the front of the field. Getting a little bit racy. Oh, we got a car spinning in the back. Caution's going to come back out. That was, I believe... Let's see if we can find out who that was. I believe that was the 31 of Randy Sample. Yes, it was. See how this happens here. Just going to get a little bit loose. Oh, up in the marbles. Not many to be seen so far. But yeah, like I mentioned earlier, one little mistake up on the top can cost you. There, he's going to collect Jonathan Mazzella, the 41. So caution's going to come out on a lap 13. Still the same leader. Like I said, I think it was going to be a very interesting race with all the close points battles and the fact that it was only a 2-point gap between these two. See here as we're going to see. Right now, still not many takers into pit road. Be very surprised to see that so early on, as track position is going to be a huge part of this race. Like I said, you fall back into the grips of some of these cars, you could just get eaten up, or if you choose the wrong lane, you'll end up getting shuffled out to the back here. Still under caution here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Pace car is going to go around a couple more times before we go back green as we get the field all together. A couple cars on pit road. 31 going to stay on pit road right now just to get some damage fixed, along with the 06 as well. Like I mentioned before, ladies and gentlemen, stage will be between the 50 and 60th lap of this race. Shouldn't be too much strategy, unfortunately, with that stage, as I do believe these guys can pretty much make it fully on fuel as we come to the choose. Kyle Ritchie going to take the inside, with Lenny Quisenberry becoming the outside pole man for this upcoming restart here. As you see, the 31 coming out of pit lane, servicing that car that unfortunately ran a little bit too high there and spun himself out. Going to try to catch himself up with the field as we are 1 to green. Lights are going to be off on the pace car, so these men will run the rest of 3 and 4 and come back to the green. Pace car is going to make the hard left, and we are back green. Same old, pretty clean restart from a lot of these guys here. Oh, we got Nathaniel Landwehr in the 66 trying to make a move on the 88. Looks like he got a little bit loose there. Right now, Kyle Ritchie still in the lead, but Lanny Quisenberry trying to make his name known and make a little bit of a challenge for the lead here.
The yellow flag is out.
Oh, is the yellow's going to come out again? That's going to be 6 of Wyatt Garrett. Let's see how this goes on here. Oh, just gets a little bit loose. Collects the 27 with him as well. Everybody else able to avoid the wreck. Not the way he wants to start this race. Not even 20 laps in. Going to be some unfortunate damage here. Obviously, the Xfinity car being a little bit of a sensitive car, especially at a short track like this, so that damage, unfortunately, will not help him for the rest of this race. Third caution of the night here. As I believe we had about 24 drivers start this race. It's 23 or 24 drivers starting the race tonight. So a little bit of a smaller field than we've seen throughout some of these races that we've had here. We've had some good participation in the last couple of weeks. Nice to see people come and support the league and show up. So yeah, good amount of people starting here tonight, but obviously it being Bristol, one of the trickier tracks on the schedule, and right before we start the playoffs, not super surprising to see a little bit lower field percentage than we've seen in the past couple of weeks. So all of these cautions that are coming out quite early are actually going to benefit some of these guys here who may... I'm not sure if they're going to have to save any fuel here tonight, unfortunately, to make it to the stage. But if you're going to have that little bit of extra fuel that can help you get to that lap 50-60 window here for the stage, then these guys are going to take it and save whatever they can. But more so going to be saving about tires. Like I mentioned before, tires a very important part of this strategy tonight, as they start wearing, it can cause a little trouble for some people, and we'll see it here probably later in the run. You see here, even early on, only 20 laps in, have some guys make some little mistakes and spin the car, and definitely don't want that early here. As we're going to come to the choose, Kyle Ritchie maintaining the bottom as he has been throughout here. Pace car lights are going to be off, so we will be 1 to green. Lap 22. Coming to lap 23, here's the pace car, wheel round 1 and 2 on the final caution lap of this caution. Pace car is going to round 3 and 4 here, going to pull the hard left onto the pits as we're going back green. Poor restart there from Landon Quisberry. He's going to check up the outside line. Kyle Ritchie, great restart from him to maintain the lead and keep himself in the front fighting position. But Matt Frady looking to make a challenge here, riding behind his teammate as the field spreads out. Going to try to keep it a little bit more clean than they have the last couple of restarts here. Still some two-wide action going on here in the mid-pack right now. Oh, the yellow flag is going to come out once again. It's the 27 and the 6 of Wyatt Garrett once again. Not the race that he wants tonight. Let's see here. We're going to go back and look and see how this all started, as the caution is going to come out for the 4th time tonight. Just rides the middle. Looks like he takes a little bit too much entry speed. Oh, unfortunate there. He's going to take the 27 with him again. Eric Shields not having himself a decent night either, unfortunately, and he will get collected heavy damage on the front end of that race car there. More than likely going to be night over in terms of any decent finishing position. Still on the lead lap as of right now, but yeah, gonna have some heavy damage with that car. Is yeah, a little bit more of some mess going on right now, unfortunately, for some of these drivers. But if you could stay towards the front of the field and continue to make your way through these laps here as they tick down, 26 laps into the race. So we are almost at that stage. We know about halfway there until we get to that window. Some guys moving through the field here. Matt Frady making his way up a couple of spots from his initial starting position. Landon Quisberry, we've seen him have some speed tonight in that 75 machine, trying to make his way towards the front. Up in P3 at the moment. Like I said before, Randy Arms, main challenger tonight, trying to retake the points lead from Kyle Ritchie. We saw him have it pretty much the entire season up until last week or the week before, I believe. So if I do remember correctly, I believe there are some extra points that come with winning the regular season championship. So gonna be some crucial points that you're gonna want with how competitive things can be for the playoffs. Like I said, not a super long playoff format we got going on here in this league, but still going to be an uber competitive one, as the pace car is going to bring the field around. Coming to the choose, I believe, next lap here. No, we're going to get the choose right now. Similar story all night with the 76 taking the bottom line. Seems to be where you want to be on the restarts here. You don't want to really be up high foolish restart in case somebody decides to challenge you on the bottom of the corner going into 1 and 2. As we are 1 to green, coming to lap 29 of 150 for tonight's 150 lap race here at Bristol Motor Speedway. They're going to round 3 and 4. Pace car will make the hard left turn on the exit here. There we go as the guys headed to the restart zone.
Green.
Here at Bristol as they're back green. Kyle Ritchie with another great start. Gonna maintain his lead as once again more two-wide action towards the mid-pack. Riding with the 66 and Nathaniel Lindbergh is going to try to run the outside here. Going to be a very interesting line here. As we see, Little Peters making her way up the field, trying to challenge for a top 5 spot here, following the 88 of Casey Brown. Randy Arms looking to make a challenge on the 2nd spot from the 40 of Matt Frady. Top's going to give you a little bit of a better run on the exit, but the bottom will give you a bit better entry speed. So we'll see how that plays out for these guys if they can make the runs work, as Matt Frady's going to end up in the wall. A little bit of a scrape, going to give Randy Arms a little bit of an advantage. As we look from the front end of Kyle Ritchie's car, you see the entire field behind, single filing out towards the back half of the field, but Randy Arms still trying to make his run at the 2nd position, as they're going to be side by side throughout these corners here as the laps tick down. Oh, is Randy Arms going to get a loose? He's going to get sideways, end up backwards on the front stretch. Here's the caution is going to come out for the 5th time tonight. So we go back and see what happens here. It looks like just getting a little bit loose. Randy Arms, unfortunate to see him spin out. Matt Frady just kind of finishing the job there and taking him with. As we're going to ride on board here and see how the approach to the corner goes. Going to try to get himself to the bottom. Just overshoots it a little bit, gets loose, and Randy Arms there spinning out. Almost had it saved for a split second. Keeps it straight. After a little bit of a 360 there. Oh, it was the 51 of Kevin Ritchie also going to get involved in a little bit of some contact there. Yeah, not the thing that you want to see Randy Arms go through is 76 stopping on track. Oh, probably just letting the pace car catch up. There we go. Perfect. Going to have some cars enter pit lane here. 45, the 6 on pit lane, along with the 26 as well. Probably just getting some damage fix. We've seen all 3 of those cars get involved in some sort of incident tonight. Kyle Ritchie, still your leader with the 66, and Nathaniel Lindbergh making his way up 6 spots from his qualifying position. Like I mentioned before, in the pre-race, trying to make up as many spots as he can before the playoffs begin to have a little bit more of a cushion once we go to, I believe I can find out really quickly where we go. Let's see here. Yeah, so, like I mentioned before, Bristol going to be the cutoff race before we head to the playoffs. We're going to have an off week next week to give these drivers a little bit of a break before we move on to Kansas for an 120 lap race. Then we're going to move on to Charlotte afterwards, and Vegas for the first round of the playoffs. Cut some drivers there, and it'll be a 3-round shootout with the championship run beginning at Talladega. Martinsville right after that, with Phoenix being the championship finale there, where we will crown a Speedzone Esports Series champion for, I believe, Season 2. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, pace car light's gonna be out here. Coming to lap 39. We're getting closer to that stage break. Pace car is gonna make the hard left onto pit road. Kyle Ritchie remaining your leader for the entirety of this race as we are back green. Solid restart there for the 76, able to keep him behind, but here comes Nathaniel Lane. We're going to try to make a hard charge on the outside of the corner. Let's see, can he get a run on the 76? Going to be even with him going into 1 and 2. He's going to get a great run on the outside. Can he keep the power down and maintain his run? Riding on board with Kyle Ritchie, looking at the back of the front bumper of Matt Frady. Nathaniel Landwehr is able to take the lead from Kyle Ritchie. We've seen him lead pretty much every single lap of this race, but we are going to have a new leader coming to lap 42. Here we go. One like I mentioned before, traffic going to be a very interesting player in tonight's race. Jonathan Mazzella becoming one of those lap cars that a lot of these drivers are going to have to try to get through without causing any trouble, as they're going to go 3 wide trying to get through lap traffic. Bit of a group forming here. Oh, so we got a car spinning on the front stretch. That's going to be the 23 of Ryan Tiller, and caution number 6 will come out. Let's go back here and see what happened. Just a little bit of loose off the exit of 3 and 4, and Randy Arms almost just kind of pushing him and giving a little bit of encouragement there. As we see here, it gets a little bit loose. A little bit of a light tap there from Randy Arms to send him spinning into the inside wall. Don't want that to happen. More than likely going to be some good suspension damage to the front end of that race car. Going to drop down the field, unfortunately, down into the 17th position. More than likely some damage here, but at least he's not a lap down. Very tricky position to end up in if you have to become a lap down. I mean, with how many cautions we have, maybe it's not going to be too big of a deal for some of these drivers, but nonetheless, still don't want to end up any laps down here as drivers cross the line for lap 45 under caution number 6 of the night. So we're averaging about a caution every 8 laps or so. So we'll see if these drivers can clean it up for the rest of the race as we move almost to the 1/3 mark of this race. Nathaniel Landwehr, your new leader. As of right now, I believe we have 4 DNFs. The 87 of Adrian Williams, 25 of Cade Ferguson, 45 of Austin Wingard, and the 6 of Wyatt Garrett. I believe also maybe Jonathan Mazzella, but he might also just be taking some damage. Scored 3 laps down at the moment, so may still be in this race. But out of 24 drivers, 4 fail to make it to the end of this race so far. As I believe this upcoming lap we're going to come to the choose. Nathaniel Landwehr having the first pick. We've seen Ravon Knight, that inside line becoming the preferred line for the restarts. More than likely will take that unless he wants to be a little bit risky. Here we go. Nathaniel Landwehr going to take the outside for the restart. Kyle Ritchie taking the inside. That's been his preferred line all night. As we come to 1 to green here, pace car lights are going to be off as we head onto the backstretch. These drivers getting back into the zone, mentally preparing for more than likely some more chaos as we move through the field. See a lot of some scuffed up race cars there as the pace car is going to round out 3 and 4 to make the hard left onto pit road once again tonight.
Green, green, green.
As we are back green, Nathaniel Landwehr gets himself a great restart and will keep the lead over Kyle Ritchie. As more side-by-side action here as we try to sort ourselves out and hopefully try not to cause any more chaos as we are just about in that stage window break coming to lap 49. Drivers seeming to sort themselves out, going single file. As we finish this lap here, we will be in the stage window of lap 50 to lap 60. We'll see how many of these guys can navigate and keeps themselves in the same spot to get some good stage points. We'll see some rubbing in the wall there from some of these drivers. Riding on the front bumper of Nathaniel Landwehr, clean track out in front of him as he leads the field into lap 51 of this 150 lap regular season finale. A lot of side-by-side action going on towards the back of the field, trying to make up as many spots as they can for those stage points. Any point will matter for some of these guys, especially the guys closer to the cutoff line. Nathaniel Landwehr keeping his lead over Kyle Ritchie. A little bit of gap forming there between the two front runners to the 40 of Matt Frater. We'll see if Kyle Ritchie's got any answer to take the lead back to try to win the stage here as we round out to halfway through this. Oh, and the yellow's going to be out. I believe that's going to be the stage. I see no drivers backwards from the commentary booth. Looks like it's going to be the stage. There was, some contact there between the 76 and the 66. Not sure what went on there. Might have been a little bit of a misjudgment there from Kyle Ritchie. Not what you want to see coming to the end of the stage there. Don't think that was anything intentional. Looks like the 76 or 66 just came down. Kind of almost just cut off the 76 there. Like I said, not sure if that was intentional or not, but maybe something to remember towards the end of the race. Nathaniel Landwehr winning your stage for tonight's Harris Hill Amusement Park 150 at Bristol Motor Speedway, with Kyle Ritchie taking the second spot. Unfortunately, not much of a challenge there at the end there. Tried his best. Unfortunately, not able to come up with anything. Matt Frater finishing P3 as these guys are going to come down pit lane to take some fresh Goodyear Eagles. We'll see who wins the race off of pit road. Let's see. These guys will enter pit lane. Obviously going to be 4 tires. As of now, maybe some 2-tire stops later in the race if we get some interesting strategy with how many cautions we've had. Going to round out as we see some of the lap cars going around to make up any of the laps, as we'll eventually see these drivers come down pit road, and we'll see who wins the race off of pit road. Kyle Ritchie having the first pit box, being he was the pole man for tonight's race. Casey Brown right behind him. We'll see if he can have himself a quick pit stop and win the race off of pit road, as the right side is going to come up. Then the lefts, as it looks like the 18 of Jared Lindsay going to win the race off of pit road over Kyle Ritchie. That Freddie Casey Brown getting the third and fourth position there, but interesting call from the 18 of Jared Lindsay. Been the guy to be the interesting strategy man, as we'll see here. Yeah, only takes right side tires here. Very interesting call. We'll see how that plays out for him. Must think that the left side tires don't wear out as much to take that call there, but yeah, not super surprising to see him do it. We've seen him do it throughout many races in the last 2 seasons, be the guy to make the interesting strategy call. As we did have, I believe, some non-takers on to pit road there. I believe that's the 38 of Greg Elliott and the 24 of Randy Sample, going to be your new leaders coming to the restart zone here. Pace car with 1 to green, going to make the hard left turn as we come
Green
back
flag,
from the stage,
flag.
and we are green. It's going to be interesting to see how these guys with older tires fare and whether or not they can actually keep themselves up in the front, or if they are going to get eaten alive. Randy Sample going to take the lead from the 38. Both of these drivers on older tires. Kyle Ritchie going to make easy work of the 38 there. Try to continue running the outside to get the... Oh, we're going to have some contact up the 38 and the 51. A little bit of a check up on the top lane there. They managed to keep it clean. Kyle Ritchie going to make a move on the inside of Randy Sample to retake the lead. on board with the 38 as he tries to maintain whatever
Yellow
position he
flag
can
is
as the
out.
yellow flag's going to come out again. Oh boy, the 88 of Casey Brown. Let's look here, a little bit of looseness. Schwartz kind of finishing him off there and sending him to the inside. Very light contact there, so should be good. Maybe some roughed up tires, but yeah, not the way you want to come off of the stage here. As we'll go on board with him and see just how loose he gets here. Going good, back end steps out a little bit, and at that point you're just along for the ride. Able to mostly keep it out of the wall. A little bit of light contact there, but yeah, gonna put himself down in a little bit of a hole here. Thankfully not gonna go a lap down, more than likely just gonna keep these tires on. It's like I mentioned before, older tires for some of these front runners here who decided, and I don't know if they just didn't pit, because I didn't see these guys come off the exit of pit road, so definitely just the guys that decided to stay out. It's been done before in real life. Some guys really, they're able to make the tires work for the latter end of the race. Some drivers are able to make it 100 laps. We'll see if that's the strategy that some of these guys up front are going for. Currently under caution number 8 of tonight's race. Kyle Ritchie, your leader. Randy Sample down in second place. One of the guys to not pit and on older tires. Jared Lindsay, the 18, with the interesting two-tire strategy. Seeming to work out pretty decent for him so far. We'll see if he can continue to stay with the front of the field and maybe make some moves. 38 of Greg Elliott, another one of those guys who decided not to pit during that stage. Let's see here. Believe we'll be coming to 2 to go here. Drivers will choose this time by Kyle Ritchie opting to take. Oh, sorry, we're gonna go 1 to green. Pace car lights are gonna be off. And you know, I think we're gonna let the audio of the cars take over for this restart here. The pace car is gonna round out 1 and 2 to come into the backstretch to return to green on lap 66. We're gonna let the cars do the talking this time, guys. We're going to do a little bit of a crank it up.
Green flag, green flag.
Back from tonight's Crank It Up for the Harris Hill Amusement Park 150 at Bristol Motor Speedway. Pretty much a clean restart for some of these guys. Unfortunately, saw some contact there in the field. Managed to keep it straight. Just like I said, we saw a little bit of contact earlier. Kyle Ritchie remains your leader over Jared Lindsay on the two-tire strategy, as we see a little bit of a gap behind. Randy Sample managed with some older tires, able to make his way and keep that third spot. He's going to get challenged from the 8 of Randy Arms and the 51 of Kevin Ritchie right behind him. Yeah, big gap forming behind these guys as we come to almost the halfway point of this race. Look at it from a fun little angle here. As you see here, a lot of these guys continuing to ride the bottom. If you're out in front or by yourself, bottom's going to be the lane to choose. We see Jared Lindsay getting a little bit loose there off the exit of the corner. Riding with Matt Frady, currently in a little bit of a gaggle of cars. Don't want to get yourself caught up in too much trouble, so going to try to play it safe, riding the middle lane. As we see, he's in a little bit of a battle with the 24, the 1, and the 66. Nathaniel Lindbergh trying to make his way throughout the field after getting past a lot on pit road by some cars either not pitting or taking 2 tires. Randy Sample starting to struggle a little bit on those older tires. Choosing to take the top lane. Don't want to go up too high. It's a little tricky if you get up there as you'll run. Oh, the caution's going to come out again for the 9th time tonight. The 88 of Casey Brown. Once again, coming around, just gets all so loose. And at that point, once again, just a passenger. Managed to keep it out of the wall and from other cars, but those tires not happy with him at all. We'll see if any of these drivers elect to come down pit lane. Not super old tires for some of these guys, so maybe the tire wear not coming off too much. As we hit lap 80 for this 150 lap regular season finale. As I say that, the 66 electing to take. Oh, no, not what we wanted to do. Anyways. Tires or a penalty? I'm not too sure. Almost just kind of sits there. Huh, I wonder if he got himself a penalty there. Oh, maybe it was just a fuel stop. Okay, interesting call there. Not super against it, but I feel like at that point you just want to take tires, but maybe electing to save tires for the end of the race here. Drivers coming to the choose. Kyle Ritchie taking the bottom as he has pretty much the entire race, with the outside man being Jared Lindsay now. Taking the interesting 2-tire strategy earlier on in the race after the stage. We'll see how those tires work out for him against a fresh 4 set of tires. Well, not super fresh, but fresher, or actually, no, same laps as him. Excuse me. I am all over the place tonight. As Nathaniel Lane, we're going to pull onto the bottom. More than likely letting cars by. Yeah, not sure what's going on there, but unfortunate to see him drop so far in the back of the field. As the pace cars get around 3 and 4, we're going to hit lap 83 of this 150 lap races. We are green. 58 of Jonathan Schwartz trying to make a move on the outside here. Ooh, right on board with the man himself, able to move himself into the second position. Going to try to challenge for the lead. Able to make the outside work. See, we're right on board with him as we go for a lap at Bristol. Like I mentioned before, if you're kind of riding by yourself or you're not really in too much of a battle with anybody, that bottom line is going to be the preferred line. But as soon as you catch somebody, you can start using that middle lane to try to make a move. He's going to get a little bit loose off the exit of the corner there, slide up into the wall. But right now, Kyle Ritchie, the guy to catch. As we near the 100 lap point of this race, Jared Lindsay a little bit loose off the exit of the corner there. Sliding all over the place, those left side tires more than likely not enjoying them, being 90 laps old. Gonna get eaten up by a couple of cars here. Randy Arms moving into the third spot with Lilith Peters eyeing her prey, trying to make a move for the fourth position.
The yellow flag
As the yellow flag is going to come out again, and I think it's the 88 of Casey Brown once again. As we look here, oh, once again, just loose, takes the 23 of Ryan Tiller with him. 28, the 28 of, I believe that's, is he Mikey? Yes, Mikey Adams. Oh, having himself a decent day, and the Trumer car just gets collected. Casey Brown not having himself a good night tonight, as Bristol's we are under caution number 10 of the night with 60 laps to go. Kyle Ritchie, still your leader as the pace car tries to sort itself out. Grab all the drivers it needs to grab. A lot of movement tonight throughout the field, as we can see here. Kyle Ritchie keeping his pole. Ooh, as we're going to see some drivers come down pit road here. See here, I believe that was the 58 of Jonathan Schwartz entering pit road. The 18 of Jared Lindsay. Probably want to get off of those little bit of older tires. 75 Atlantic Coinsbury as well coming down pit road. So right on board with the 58, right side. It's going to come up. We'll see if it's just going to be a stop for 2 or 4. Looks like it's going to be both, and more than likely a top off on fuel. I do believe these drivers can make it to the end of the race on fuel, so it should not be a worry. Tires, on the other hand, going to be a very interesting call there as we go back. Let's see if Jared Lindsay, yep, looks like he takes 4 there. Not surprising because you saw him struggling with those just the right side tires that he took earlier. Coming out of pit road here. Kyle Ritchie looks like he got some right side damage there, unfortunately. Not sure where that came from. Might be some unfortunate contact that we saw earlier. Gonna take the inside as the drivers come to the choose. Lilith Peters making her way up from the 5th position that she started in on the outside row now. Right behind Kyle Ritchie, 40 of Matt Frady. We've seen him lurking all night. We'll see what he can do on the restart here with Nathaniel Langwer making his way back up to the front of the field with some troubles earlier. See how it plays out as the pace car is going to come into 3 and 4 with its lights off. Going to make the hard left back onto pit road. As we are back green for the Harris Hill Amusement Park 150. Kyle Ritchie, great restart again. He's able to keep the lead as Matt Frady got a challenge for the 2nd spot. Side by side throughout the field. Can they sort themselves out as we're going to have some guys try the top lane? Going to be tricky up there with all the marbles. We'll see how their tires fare. As Jared Lindsay ripping the outside wall. Oh, a little bit too much. Oh, is it going to be sideways? Caution number 11 out. As we're going to go back and take a look, like I mentioned before, top lane not going to be the preferred one as he gets up into the marbles, going to get loose, and just collects and comes down and takes the 44 and the 42 with him. Not the way he wants this restart to go, so we're going to go back and ride on a board with him if I can find... Where is the camera I am looking for? Right there. Gonna get loose, right up in the wall, spins. And that is all she wrote for the 18. Decent damage there. Unfortunately, taking the 42 of Michael Cochran with him. Gonna try to sort himself out. Maybe not too much damage there for him, but yeah, gonna come down pit road to take any damage that was sustained there. 11th caution of the night. Lap, almost at lap 100 here, so nearing towards the back end of the race. Interesting strategy with tires, as we saw earlier with Jared Lindsay struggling with the 2 tires. Had no choice but to come down and take 4 fresh tires. Everyone else, though, I believe everybody in the field now is on those 4 tires from earlier. Not many guys elected to take 2 earlier, so pretty much everybody, if I can see here. Yeah, pretty much everybody. Actually, Kyle Ritchie and Lil Peters being the only people to be on the oldest tires. A lot of people throughout the rest of the field pit about 20 laps ago, and even before that, around 10 laps ago. So, some guys in the back half of the field with some fresh Goodyear rubber. A lot of chaos tonight. Mentioned it pre-race that it was going to be pretty tricky for some of these guys with the wearing tires and interesting lines that could be taken here as we come to the choose cone. Kyle Ritchie once again taking the inside, saying it all night. Probably won't ever take the top unless he for some reason really needs to, but Lilith Peters gonna be on the outside. Coming to the restart here with 51 laps to go, coming to 50 laps to go of this 150 lap regular season finale. You see back there, cars rounding out. Going to be a heavy inside lane as many cars elected to take an extra pit stop just to probably get some damage and fuel. Pace car is going to round 3 and 4 and make the left-hand turn as we are back green for the Harris Hill Amusement Park 150 at Bristol. Kyle Ritchie having himself a great restart there. Lilith Peters going up a little bit high as Nathaniel Landwehr is going to look to her inside, try to challenge for the second spot. See here, a little bit of dropping back for Randy Sample there, causing a little bit of chaos towards the mid-pack. Starting to settle down a little bit now as Nathaniel Landwehr makes his move for the lead on Kyle Ritchie. I believe he is on the fresher tires of that front pack, so not surprised to see him get himself such a good run there for the lead. It's all about just surviving at this point and keeping your tires clean. As Casey Brown going to be sideways. No caution as of yet. Manages to keep himself straight, but as you can tell, having himself a tricky night tonight. So we ride with the Goodyear blip. Oh, some contact in the back of the field. The 6 and the 24. Or the 06 and the 24. Is that the, yes, the 06 of Jake Nipris. Involved in some contact with the 24. Randy Sample is caution number 12 of the night is going to wave itself. Yeah, Randy Sample just getting in a little bit too hot, taking the 06 with him. Good wreck avoidance by some of the cars in the back of the field. Oh, is Casey Brown going to end up in the outside wall? Oh boy, not having himself a fun night tonight. More than likely some extra damage that he wasn't looking forward to. go. Going to see some cars come down pit lane. 76 and the 1 electing to come down, more than likely to take tires. Not a bad shout if you're one of the guys on the older tires to try to make your way through the field. Multiple cars a lap down at the moment, up to 16th or a lap down at the moment. So shouldn't be too much of a struggle with how fast some of these guys have been. Excuse me, to make their way through the field on some fresher tires, especially for some of these guys who are already coming on lap 20 to 25 on tires here. So we'll see how these fresh tires feel for some of these guys. We're going to go green with about 100, or on lap 110. You can see here the 76 of Kyle Ritchie, one side up. Got to drop down, and we'll more than likely see the other side come up. Yep, there it is. Right behind Lilith Peters, also taking 4 tires, but Kyle Ritchie winning the battle between those two. Nathaniel Landwehr, your new leader, doing his best to battle and keep himself in contention for the win tonight. Right behind him, the 58 of Jonathan Schwartz and the 8 of Randy Arms. As we are coming to the choose. Oh, there you go. See Lilith Peters and Kyle Ritchie making their way around after a pit stop for some 4 fresh Goodyears. Ooh, a lot of guys coming around to try to catch the pace car as pace car lights are off. Once again, going to come around 3 and 4 to end caution number 12 of the night.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag is going to wave once again as Nathaniel Landwehr going to lead the field to green. See here, Nathaniel Landwehr getting himself a great run as behind everybody tries to find their spot to make their way through the field. Big gap forming now between the front two. Nathaniel Landwehr on the oldest tires of this entire bunch here, along with Kevin Ritchie down in 6th on 33 lap old tires. The rest of the field on 20 lap or less older tires. How well will it work for some of these guys towards the end of the race here? As like I mentioned before, Nathaniel Landwehr still your leader, but here comes Jonathan Schwartz. Gonna try to challenge for the lead. These front two starting to go at it. Oh, as the yellow flag's going to come out again. Oh, the 40 of Matt Frady. Backwards on the backstretch, having himself a great night, and we'll see what happens here. Oh, just loose, and oh, as soon as you get at that angle, you're pretty much asking to have the inside wall with your name print on it there is going to have a Chevy logo right on the inside wall there. Unfortunate after having such a great night running in the top 5 for the majority of this race, and not the night, or not the ending to this race. He's going to want definitely some heavy engine damage and some suspension damage, as well as oh, never mind. I am all over the place. Thought the 66 was having some more connectivity issues. We saw that last week I don't even remember where we were last week. As speaking of which, gonna make his way onto pit road, along with the 18 of Jared Lindsay and the 31 of if I can remember everybody's names. Along with the maybe not. Maybe we're not gonna memorize anybody's name in this league, but. Oh, 31 of Christian Schrader. Yes, there we go. I figured it out. Jonathan Schwartz will take over the lead here as we round out caution number 13 of the night. Very chaotic race. A lot of contact, a lot of loose drivers. Not, like I said, not surprising to see. I said it pre-race that it was going to be tricky to keep these cars straight if you get it at the wrong angle or if you go just a little bit too high. We saw it in the real life Cup race on Saturday night that if you got up in the marbles, you were dropping like a rock. Yeah, not a fun sight to see for a lot of those drivers that night to get shuffled out towards the back of the field. Pace car is going to continue to bring these cars around as we hit lap 119 of this 150 lap race. Believe we're coming to the choose here as we will go 1 to green. Jonathan Schwartz going to take the bottom. Landon Quisenberry, haven't mentioned his name in a little while, but able to make his way back through the field after some early race struggles. Randy Arms ahead of Kyle Ritchie, so that could be the point swing right there, ladies and gentlemen, whether or not they can actually continue, if they'll swap positions at the end of this race in the point standings for the regular season championship. Pace car is going to enter 3. Get ready to make that hard left back onto pit road. Can these guys stay green for the rest of the race as we are green once again? Jonathan Schwartz able to maintain the lead as Landon Quisenberry gonna make a move on the outside of Randy Arms. Randy Arms not going anywhere just yet. We'll see, can Kyle Ritchie make a challenge and find himself in front of Randy Arms to keep his regular season points lead. A little bit of contact going on behind. A little bit of RG barges are going to go 3 wide going in to 3. I guess we're going to... There we go. A lot of side-by-side action with these guys. 24, Randy Sample going to come down to Randy Arms a little bit of contact there between the two. Able to keep it straight as Kyle Ritchie going to try to make a move on the outside. All he needs is the one spot. All he's got to do is finish in front of Randy Arms, and he should keep his regular season championship. The two going to get close together, try to keep themselves a little bit lead here as Randy Sample trying not to get in the way of these two too much, but also battling for points himself. Once again, Jonathan Schwartz having himself a huge gap from the 75 of Landon Quisenberry, probably the biggest gap we've seen tonight from anybody. As the drivers are going to come barreling down the front stretch to start lap 126. 25 laps to go in this race. Who will we crown the regular season champion at the end of this race? Starting to heat up there from the 2nd to 5th spot. All these guys battling for a top 3 position. Do you want to be the guy to finish on the podium? Absolutely. So these guys are going to fight their heart outs to try to get any spots they can. Is Kyle Ritchie going to make a move on the outside of Randy Arms? I believe he's going to keep the position and keep his championship points lead so long as the results stay the same for these two drivers. But the big question is, can he keep that lead? As Lil Peter's going to drop Randy Arms a position farther down, so even more work for Randy Arms to have to do as we come to 21 laps to go. Gap closing a bit between the 58 and the 75 as it's starting to close up between a lot of these guys towards the top 10. Battles going all around the track. Obviously don't want to jinx anything. Looking pretty clean so far here. Maybe we can get a little bit of a green run here to the end. Would be quite nice to see. Jonathan Schwartz remains in the lead with the 75. Landon Quisenberry right on. Trying to close the gap to his rear bumper to try to challenge for the lead. But almost as if Nobody is able to contest as of right now. We'll see if these two on equal tires right now can close the gap and fight for the race win, as we see a little bit farther behind. 24 trying to keep his podium position, but Kyle Ritchie's going to try to make a move on the inside, and Lilith Peters as well. Got to look out for her on the outside as well. Can she contest for a top 3 finishing spot in tonight's race? Laps winding down as we're going to come to... Oh, it's the 51
Yellow flag.
and the 76 get together. Just as I was about to comment that Kyle Ritchie was starting to drop back a little bit, we'll look on board the blimp cam. Oh, almost just a chain reaction there from the 66 of Nathaniel Lane. We're making a little bit of contact. And sends the 51 down into his brother Kyle Ritchie, and he's going to be sideways. Probably not too much damage there, but actually, yeah, maybe a little bit of decent damage there, but it's going to drop him back. Crucial spots that he can't miss as he almost takes the 23 Orion Tiller with him. Not what you want to see here for the end of this race, as like I said, every single point will matter. Can that be the caution that changes the outcome of the regular season champion? Who knows, as caution number 14 is going to come out with 14 laps left in this race. With how everything's been going, wouldn't be surprised to see if we can maybe get some overtime here at Bristol Motor Speedway, as some of the cars are going to come down pit road for probably some last second tires possibly to see what they can get towards the end of this race. Very unfortunate there. As like I said, a bit of a chain reaction there between the 3 cars. Kyle Ritchie being the least benefited person out of that, is obviously didn't want to lose any spots. But the order remains: Jonathan Schwartz, Landon Quisenberry, and Randy Sample, your top 3 as of now. Lilith Peters and Nathaniel Landwehr hunting behind to try to make their way up. Jonathan Schwartz up 21 spots from his initial starting spot. So far, a great run for him if he can finish it off. Same with Randy Sample as well, also up 21 spots, up into 3rd from starting dead last in this race. So, yeah, if he can have himself a nice podium finish, be great to see some new podium finishers tonight. Like I mentioned before, very tight championship battle right now. We're just 2 points between the top 2 of Kyle Ritchie and Randy Arms. Jonathan Mazzella down in 3rd, 29 points back off the lead. May not be a factor tonight in the championship, so it will just be between the 2. As, yeah, Jonathan Mazzella down in 14th. Not going to be challenging very much there, but like I mentioned, Kyle Ritchie just involved in an incident as the pace car is going to come to 1 to green. Jonathan Schwartz taking the outside. So, interesting to see. Maybe he thinks he can get a little bit of a better run than Landon Quisenberry, but we'll see if he can challenge here as the pace car rounds 3 and 4. We're going to come to 10 to go. Will we get another caution? Are we going to see overtime, or will these drivers keep it green? We are back green for the 150 lap finale of the regular season. Jonathan Schwartz able to keep the lead. Randy Sample looking on the outside of Landon Quisenberry. See here, drivers fighting for every spot that they can get. Kyle Ritchie, can he make his way through the field past Randy Arms and maintain his championship lead? Jonathan Schwartz pulling on pretty much the entire field right now, as Lilith Peters going to try to make a move on Randy Sample. Might see some 3-wide action here between this group if they can if they can use those tires. You see right there, Nathaniel Laidmer almost making it 3 wide there. Randy Arms got a little bit of a runner. Peter's going to look on the inside of the 3 wide in the corner. Can they keep it clean? Yes, they can. Randy Arms up into the 3rd spot. Coming to 6 to go. Jonathan Schwartz extending his lead heavily. Randy Arms going to make a move on the inside of Landon Quisenberry for the 2nd position. Big points here. This is the swing that's going to change the end results for the regular season championship and whether or not they will have a boost to begin the playoffs in 2 weeks. Oh, contact behind.
The yellow flag is
Yellow's going to come out again. Jared Lindsay involved. Casey Brown involved. So we see here, we'll go back and right on board with the man himself. See what happens here. It's right on board with 18 to Jared Lindsay. Randy Sample up into the wall, comes down into the 06 and takes Lindsay with him. Not what he wants to see, considering he was trying to make his way through the field. You can see Casey Brown there. Involved in yet another incident. Probably the most damage he's had tonight, as you can see there. Yes. Oh, just a pinball machine between these drivers. You can see here, the 18 just comes up. Gets collected, takes the 28 as well. Oh, I hear an engine blow back there. Very interesting end of this race. More than likely going to go into overtime here. I do believe we had unlimited attempts. So who knows, maybe we could add to this 15th caution here as Jonathan Schwartz remains the leader, but Randy Arms making a hard charge for the lead. Landon Quisenberry down in 3rd after being overtaken by Randy right before the caution came out. But the main story of tonight, Kyle Ritchie and Randy Arms, their championship battle, down in 7th. So gonna need a lot of work to try to keep his way in the regular season point standings. If he can continue to lead, gonna need a lot of work though. Jonathan Schwartz on some of the oldest tires in the field, coming to almost 60 laps on this set of tires. Randy Arms, almost less than 15 laps on these tires. So, can he use those to his advantage? Lenny Quisenberry also on the older tires as well. But other than that, everybody pretty much level on tires. It's just going to be if Randy Arms can he make it work with the late strategy call to take tires. They are going to choose Randy Arms on the inside. Honestly, if I'm him, smart move there to take the inside. Maybe get a bit of a run off the restart as the pace car is going to come to 1 to green. It's going to be a green, a white checkered finish for the end of this race. Like I said, I do believe unlimited attempts. So we'll see if these drivers can make it in 1 or if they're going to have to do more. Pace car is going to round 3 and 4. And we are back. Grid for the green white checkered finish of this event. Can Randy Arms make the move? Gonna look on the inside, but can't get as much of a run. Gonna try the outside now as we're gonna come to the white flag. Race is official so long as the no other flag comes. Randy Arms gonna make a move on the inside. Can he stick with Jonathan Schwartz? Is going to look to the inside. We're going to round 3 and 4 for the final lap. It's going to be a really close finish, but Randy Arms going to take the win at Bristol. Jonathan Schwartz not able to hold off there at the end. Valiant effort from the man himself, but unable to hold off a hard-charging Randy Arms. Going to be your winner of tonight's Harris Hill Amusement Park 150 here at Bristol Motor Speedway. And that's going to be it, folks. That'll be your regular season champion right there. Only needed 3 points to take the lead. He finishes 6 positions up from his challenger, of Kyle Ritchie. We saw him maintain the lead for most of tonight's race, or most of the championship, excuse me, only losing it pretty recently in the last couple of rounds, but able to rebound, take a late race win here at Bristol, as he's going to burn it down. You see there the 75 finishing in third. So it's going to be Randy Arms, Jonathan Schwartz, and Landon Quisenberry at podium. Nathaniel Landwehr, after some trouble earlier, able to rebound to take fourth. Littleton Peters up in fifth. Kevin Ritchie, the first of the Ritchie brothers, in sixth. And Kyle Ritchie, tonight's championship contender, unfortunately going to lose that points lead to league owner Randy Arms down in seventh. A valiant effort from everybody, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to Randy Arms. So we're going to go back. And let's see here if we can get some of these drivers in here. Do we have anybody in the broadcast waiting room? Let's see if I can find Randy Arms. Let's bring him in here. Randy, do you got a copy, my man?
I got you, buddy.
Well, welcome to the booth. Congratulations on your win tonight. Able to make a hard charge for the lead. We saw it was a very intense battle between you and Kyle Ritchie for the regular season championship. I do believe that's going to be you taking the lead at the end of the day. Very caution-heavy race tonight. Take us through your race tonight.
It definitely wasn't, the best race from, the caution standpoint. Car was pretty challenging to drive, extremely loose, and just never really tightened up. Even on the long run, if you ever drove it just a little bit, it was still, pretty loose. But yeah, we had a pretty average day. Just went out there one time trying to pull a slide job on Freddie and realized that you couldn't do that anymore. It just got away from me, but kind of thought I had screwed myself there because I didn't pit and was kind of falling back, and was lucky enough to get that yellow there with about 10 to go, and said screw it, I'll come down, get tires, see how far I can make it up there. And I got some lucky brakes on that restart, had some clean lines in front of me, and was able to get into Sports, and we had a pretty good battle there at the end. So all in all, I guess a pretty good race for me.
Yeah, I was going to say we saw a lot of differing lines tonight. I mentioned it pre-race that I had a feeling we were going to be able to go kind of all over the place, almost like the real-life cup race on Saturday, able to use the bottom and the middle. But as we saw on Saturday, it wasn't great to use the top, and we kind of saw the same thing here tonight. Caught out a lot of different drivers tonight. Like you mentioned, that late race pit stop, I noticed it before that there was a big tire differential between the two. Did you really notice that big of a difference between you and Schwartz there on the different tires?
That run before there, some guys had pitted and had about, 15 or so laps, nearer than me, and was just, was just a lot better than me. So I knew if I thought I could get a few spots. I never thought I'd be able to get to the lead, but I caught Schwartz pretty quick. Knew he was going to be a tough one to pass. He always is. So I tried to stay patient. Then we had that yellow. I knew that'd make it harder because I'd have less time to try to make a move on him, and was able to kind of do like a little crossover and get under him. And still, it wasn't an easy pass. Kind of had to gas it up, squeeze him just a little bit. It seemed like tires were a lot bigger than what they usually are here. Before, you'd have to have a lot of laps for them to really make a difference. But whatever they changed, on this latest update, track's a lot different. Cars are harder to drive, so it definitely made it pretty wild there.
Yeah, I was going to say a lot of guys getting caught out today. Had a feeling it was going to be because of the new tires and people just maybe not completely used to it yet. But as I mentioned before, I do believe that's going to be you winning the regular season championship. We saw you hold it for pretty much the entire season up until just the last couple of races when we saw your main competitor, Cal Ritchie, take it. Did you see what happened there with him getting involved in that late race contact that sent him kind of back? And what was going through your mind there when you saw that, like you were going to have the little bit of extra points to take the lead back there?
Yeah, I noticed. I think it was Nate and Kevin kind of got into each other, and I wasn't really sure how Kyle got spun, but I just looked up and he was spun off or say the nose of Kevin. So it might be an interesting or say talk later in the Ritchie household. But yeah, when I saw that, I didn't think he was that bad, so I figured he'd probably get back up there, but must have had just enough damage where it just slowed him down enough, and just able to play the strategy and stay in front of him. So yeah, it's yeah, should be able to get the points lead back. I forget where we both finished it in the stage. I don't know how much that'll or say we'll offset or say the finish, but I think we was only 2 points apart. So I think I'll have enough to jump back in front of him there.
Yeah, like I said, should be it for you. We're gonna have an off week before we go to Kansas for the start of the playoffs. How are we feeling going into there? I know it's gonna be a tricky one. So how are we feeling going into Kansas?
Yeah, Kansas has been a pretty good track for me. Just I guess it depends what line or say we'll be running. It seems like sometimes we go there or say right around the top, and we went there a couple times and had to run the bottom. So it'll be interesting. I know there's a lot of other guys here that are really good at Kansas, or say Mazzella, or say Kyle. Of course, Nate and Jared, they're always good. So it'll be a good race to start the playoffs. So yeah, or say look forward to it.
Well, once again, congratulations on the win tonight, my man. My late charger here to take the regular season championship. We'll confirm that once points come out. But before we let you go, you can go ahead and get your shout-outs in. Obviously, as you can tell, I am by myself today, so a little bit of a struggle. But before we let you go ahead and thank who you want to thank, my man.
Yeah, just want to thank everyone that's came out this year and tonight. We've had a pretty good turnout all year. Once you get later on in the year, some people, they get kind of burn out and whatever. So I hope to see everyone keep coming back and finish the season strong. Thank you and Cave for doing everything, or say you guys have done all year, or say thank you for, or say picking up, or say the slack tonight since it was, or say the cutoff race. And yeah, just I just want to thank everyone that helps put this on each week. It's I can't do it without everyone's help.
Well, thank you again, Randy. Congratulations again on the win, and we'll see you at Kansas in 2 weeks.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Randy Arms, tonight's winner. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get a word in with the second place winner, Jonathan Schwartz. I don't actually know if anybody knows that we are broadcasting tonight, unfortunately. But we're going to bring Landon Quisenberry, P3 finish in for him tonight. Landon, you got a copy, my man? Landon.
Oh, what up? There we go.
There you go. Welcome to the booth, man. Unfortunately, not able to get a word in with Jonathan Schwartz, but we're able to get a word in with you, tonight's P3 finisher at Bristol. Great qualifying effort from you to start close to the top 5, able to make your way up to 3rd there. Talk me through your race, man.
I couldn't go through a lot of specifics. I was just trying to hang on for a lot of it. This track with the way concrete tracks are, whatever few updates ago, where they've kind of changed the way the tire model is, and this track in particular, it is just crazy how loose they are, but then like they can get gripped up and then you're on the bottom. I have a feeling that when they rescan this place, the grip strip is down there in the bottom, but they just don't show it. Like I feel like there's PJ1 or something down there, because it's just so strange how this track is evolved to what it is. I mean, yeah, I raced with you on Monday night, so you kind of know what I'm talking about, because it was kind of the same as those cars last night, but super fun. I'm glad that my speed last night wasn't a fluke. I'm glad my speed today wasn't a fluke, and this time I was able to keep my nose clean and kind of be up in the mix for a change. I know that I'm not like up there all the time, but I always kind of felt like I'm a big short track guy, so It feels great to get back on track with how decent I am at short track racing, and came out with a good finish. Maybe roughed up Nate a little bit on the end on accident because I got loose, but rubbin's racing, right?
Yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, that's what it's all about. It's short track racing at Bristol, man. I mean, you can't really come out of here without at least a couple scrapes. Seeing it a lot tonight, obviously. 15 cautions to end the night, including the stage cautions. So, yeah, obviously able to make your way through and keep your nose clean for the most part. Like you mentioned, tires a little bit of a big thing tonight. We saw it at the end there with the pass for Randy on like 45 lap younger tires there. What did you notice about the tires tonight? Obviously, I know you mentioned the grip mostly being on the bottom tonight, but did you notice there a big difference there with older tires?
Yeah, it's just that they would get just more loose. It was really weird because the lane moves up to the top when you're starting to roll and you're getting on older tires, but they don't get tighter, they get looser. So when you're moving up the track, you're on the gas longer throughout the corner. Like, you're getting, you're digging on it from halfway in the corner to on the exit, and you just start getting looser and looser, and you're just praying every time you come out the corner that it's not just going to snap on you. So it was fun. I'm not gonna lie, I felt sick to my stomach seeing that Randy won on that because I had a set of older or extra tires and I didn't pick because I was like, well, I'm sitting P2, so hopefully I get lucky. There's no way I could charge to the field in that amount of time. And then I watch old man Randy do it to me. So uh, just felt good that I was in the mix though, so I can't complain too much. It was fun. Almost felt like Matty D a few years ago. I'm just not crying after the race for finishing runner up to the runner up. But yeah, tires were enough to where I was thinking about pitting and giving up second, but I just couldn't do it.
Oh yeah, like I said, new tires are going to be a very interesting thing tonight for a lot of these guys. Yeah, able to make it with the 61 lap old tires is what iRacing's telling me. So, able to hold on there at the end. Great charge at the end there. Obviously, I saw you kind of had some good in the beginning of the race, fell back a little bit, but able to make your way back up. I believe this will solidify yourself in the playoffs in the next 2 weeks here. Having an off week next week, giving everybody a nice little break before we get to the last 6 weeks. Starting off with Kansas, how are we feeling going into the playoffs here?
We're just gonna have to see. The last time we ran at Kansas with the new update, I kind of caught me off guard because it was another track that was like super top heavy. Then it's a bottom feeder track now. All of a sudden, it gets really loose. So just gonna have to go back to the drawing board on that one and just run strong. I'm a little worried about the first round of the playoffs more than the second round. I've been telling myself this whole season, if I can get out of this first round, I could win this championship and at least be a factor. Maybe not win, but I could definitely be a factor in the matter if I can make it to that second round. So just got to run clean and hope that some of those big dogs up front have some problems, and we'll come and emerge and maybe be a spoiler this season.
Yeah, obviously, wouldn't be a bad thing to see. Sometimes you like to see the interesting races. Where sometimes the winner isn't who you expect it to be. So, congratulations again on the P3. Before we let you go here, go ahead and thank whoever you'd like to thank, my man.
Just shout out to Randy and everyone here at Speedzone that put on the league. I have so much fun racing over here. I'm glad that we've always had a place to race here on Tuesdays, and everyone just runs so clean. Shout out to my teammate Cade. I know he didn't have a great race today, another kind of opening lap scuffle that got him out of it, but just always glad to have him here. I guess also shout out to Wyatt and Caleb. I know Caleb wasn't here tonight. Wyatt, I don't know what happened to Wyatt. They're also part of the team, so I'll go ahead and mention them here. And obviously, thank you for broadcasting. I know that Cabe abandoned you to go celebrate his date of birth, so happy birthday to Cabe. Thank you for at least leaving the stream up for people. And I sounded really bad, like I was dissing him. He's going to celebrate his birthday. That was not a diss. I came off wrong. My bad. Yeah, shout out for the broadcast. And then I'll just, go ahead and shout out, obviously, in the Race to Stop Suicide card the whole month for Suicide Awareness Month for September. So I'm just super glad to always bring awareness to the cause and run this car or a car with these logos on it every single season. Just because if there was a friend of mine that they were pretty close to taking their own life, and if they ended up succeeding, I would have never went sim racing in the first place. I would have never went on iRacing. I would never joined any leagues, and I just always like to, you know, be respectful and just thankful for the fact that I've, you know, that they're still here with me, and I got that chance to go and get on iRacing and stuff and do this with everybody. So, yeah, just love everybody, love your neighbors. Everyone's super blessed to be, you know, have a sentient life on this space rock. And yeah, that's about it. Hopefully I get some good finishes. This is where I put in some cringy thing where they don't want me to catch on fire because the grease fire is hard to put out. So I don't know. Sorry for going super long, but
No, don't worry about it. Great message there from you, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah. Congratulations again on the P3, and we'll see you at Kansas in 2 weeks, my man.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
All right, there we are, your P3 finisher for tonight's Harris Hill Amusement Park 150. Would have loved to get a word with James Goodwin, tonight's race sponsor, the man, a part of the Harris Hill Amusement Park sponsor. Yeah, great to always see more sponsors and have everybody support the league. Like I mentioned before, always nice to bring in everybody and have some good racing every Tuesday. Yeah, you know, oh, it feels really weird to unfortunately not have my co-host with me, but I tried my best. We'll come back in 2 weeks stronger to bring a little bit of a better product. But yeah, at the end of the day, Bristol always puts on a show, a little bit of a chaotic one, but at the end of the day, we'll move forward knowing that Randy Arms is going to be, like I said, once points come out, we'll solidify it, but more than likely your regular season champion, Kyle Ritchie, finishing in, or probably second in that point standings before we move on to Kansas. But once again, thank you everybody for showing up, for supporting the league and the broadcast. Gonna have ourselves an off week here, and when we return, it will be me and Cabe once again. So stream will look different as it did to today. Did what we could with what we have. So appreciate everybody coming out tonight, and we will see you all at Kansas in 2 weeks' time. Thank you, everybody.